If you caught our last breakdown, then you already know exactly how things unraveled when Lupe Fiasco stepped into what might be one of the most confusing hip-hop debates this platform has ever seen. What started as a discussion about the culture spiraled out of control almost instantly, and before anyone realized it, the conversation had turned personal, petty, and way more chaotic than anyone expected.
What's the problem?
Why is his name in your mouth? I can't do the same for you. That's what I want to know.
I ain't mentioned Dot at all.
What are you talking about?
First.
10 years?
I ain't even said nothing.
You've been saying it for, you've been talking about Dot for 10 years.
You're not Kendrick Lamar. You're not signed to TDE. You're not on PG Lang. You're a fan. What's the problem?
Lupe, I'm closer to you than you are to...
Today, we've got a fresh update as Lupe Fiasco finally responds to that heated debate and clears the air on exactly where he stands when it comes to Kendrick. You might be surprised by what he had to say, because his latest comments add an entirely new layer to the conversation.
Yeah, Lil Wayne, and there's a rare few guys like that. There's you, there's King Los. I'm not shy about mentioning their names in any circle. That's what.
But we'll circle back to that in just a moment. We're also taking a trip back to a fascinating story where Jay-Z explained how Eminem reached a level of fame that in many ways came as close as hip-hop has ever seen to the Michael Jackson effect. The reason this came back into the spotlight is because former Hannah Montana star Mitchell Musso recently shared what it was like during the height of that show's popularity when Eminem and his team would bring a young Haley to the set, and the behind-the-scenes details are definitely worth hearing.
And not just like guest stars. If you weren't on the show, you were in the audience with your children. You know what I mean? You got Tom Cruise and Connor right there. You got Will Smith and Jaden. You name it, they were there on that set, right? Especially if you were somebody, because you know everybody. And hey, my child wants to come watch Hannah tonight. Of course, we will. Eminem, okay, and you have to bring guns. Can Eminem? Okay, you know what I mean? Obama's coming with this. Okay, yeah, of course.
Obama and Eminem really came for Hannah?
They were asking. Eminem called and said, we have to bring guns, though, just so you know.
For protection.
Just so you know, we have to bring guns. If it's Eminem, you know what I mean? Dude, I went on tour. When I was touring, Haley would come to my concerts with her friends and her people, Eminem's people. And I've lived this surreal life. Still doesn't feel real. Still is, I just sort of live it.
What made this even funnier was the reaction online, especially on Reddit, where people flooded the comments with laughing emojis and joked that this had to be one of the most random crossover ever. Nobody expected to be scrolling through hip-hop discussions in 2026 only to suddenly see Mitchell Musso pop up, and that surprise alone had people cracking up. On top of that, hearing that clip felt like an instant trip back to the 2000s, bringing back memories a lot of fans hadn't thought about in years. It also reminded me of something Eminem touched on in Careful What You Wish For, because Jay-Z shared a similar perspective back in 2010 about meeting M during one of the biggest moments of his career. According to Jay, when they linked up in New York to work on Moment of Clarity for the Black Album, Eminem had already become the biggest rapper on the planet, with sales reaching unbelievable numbers. Jay-Z recalled hugging him in the studio and being stunned to realize Eminem was wearing a bulletproof vest, a moment that instantly showed the hidden cost of reaching that level of success. Instead of enjoying everything he had worked for, Eminem was carrying the weight of constant danger, proving that unimaginable fame can come with an equally unimaginable burden. Jay went on to explain that the ongoing street tensions surrounding the 50 Cent and Ja Rule feud created an atmosphere where someone as famous as Eminem always had to stay alert, even during everyday moments. Hearing that made Jay realize Eminem had achieved everything an artist could dream of, yet in many ways had become trapped by his own celebrity, and he admitted that was genuinely heartbreaking to witness. Looking back today, it's honestly wild to watch artists who've never experienced even a fraction of that level of fame question why Eminem travels with security, as if they have any real frame of reference for what that lifestyle demands. We've even heard critics like Benzino and others throw that argument around, but asking why Eminem needed protection makes about as much sense as asking why Michael Jackson had security at the height of his career. Now, shifting gears, Lupe Fiasco has finally addressed that viral debate with quality, a conversation that still has hip-hop fans split right down the middle. Some people think he never should have entertained a debate with a reactor in the first place. Others believe he's become overly focused on Kendrick, while another group fully agrees that Lupe's lyrical ability surpasses Kendrick's. In his latest conversation with Mickey Fax, Lupe explained in greater detail why he believes there are somewhere between 50 and 100 rappers he considers technically better than Kendrick. And trust me, his reasoning is already sparking another wave of debate.
Pick up my phone and wipe the coal out my eye, and I see you interviewing with a nigga that should not get the interview.
These ain't interviews.
What do you call them?
I'm gathering data, and I'm allowing people to talk themselves into publicly saying the exact thing I'm saying. So these same people that hold that, well, I'm such a pariah and I'm such a bad guy and a villain, which I am. I'm saying y'all are too, because y'all think the same thing I think, and you just said it. Now, whether you said it quick and you package it up in the midst of something else, or you're saying you were being facetious or whatever you masked your admission. Yeah, and not only in front of people, on private conversations and phone calls that I've had with people over the past few days. You think the exact same thing. The only difference is you care. I don't. Secondly, you're at the mercy of your community. I'm not. The Lupe Fiasco fan base is strong and long and deep, and they don't give a fuck about none of this, right? But your fan base does. And if you go against them niggas, oh, you're cooked. So you're gonna toe the line, period.
Before we go any further, it's important to clear up exactly who Lupe is referring to here. He's talking about Quality, the creator who debated him over Kendrick, and Lupe believes a large portion of Quality's audience is made up of dedicated Kendrick fans. Because of that, Lupe argues that Quality is naturally pressured to stay in line whenever the conversation shifts toward Kendrick.
So hear me out. Obviously, you didn't hear my rant, right?
No.
So you a Chicago nigga, right?
Yep.
And if what I said was, if Lupe is Jordan and it comes to any kind of smoke lyrically, I'm Pippen, right? So if I'm Pippen, right, a guy, no matter what, it don't matter what is being said, it don't matter what's happening, I'm here. So it's like when my man is taking the shots, I'm like, oh, wait. I could take these shots too. Hold on. And I'm stepping in front of some of the bullets too. Because so when you was on that live that day and you was like, and I was like, yo, what's going on? Niggas is at me. I didn't know what was going on. Niggas like, yo, your man wildin'. And I was like, so I had to do some research and I was like, yeah, what up? I'm good. Once I see what's going on, I'm like, okay, yeah, what's up? I'm with it. You good? And then niggas be like, all right, bet. And they fall back. And the same thing here. When you said what you said with Rosenberg and, we had to talk, tag him to it. I was like, look, my man said you better than homie. And then that shit just from that.
And he said, yes. He said, you could have put me down the list. You didn't have to mention me first. And I spoke to Rosenberg directly. And I said, you only mentioned you first because I just heard you. Your name was in my mind recently because I was looking at some battle shit and your name popped up. I was like, oh, fuck, Rosenberg, bro. And I thought it was another nigga. I was like, what is that? And that was it. But he said, yeah, just put me further down the list. He didn't want to be first.
Right.
That's all. But he said yes.
I mean, we're all supposed to say that we're better than
No. That's that competitive spirit. And that's the cop-out. I'm saying objectively.
But wait.
Yeah, people ain't going to say that. So Lupe will say it. People ain't going to go out and protest. But Lupe will. Lupe's not going to be the first one to say the thing that everybody says now. Because niggas was too worried about losing their record deals. Lupe wasn't.
For the record, when people ask me certain things about me and my skill set and where I rank, I constantly and consistently say, please don't rank me. Everybody is better than me because I don't want.
But that's not true.
Yeah, but I have to say this only because I don't want
to get cooked.
I don't want people to think that my ego is taking over or whatever. And I don't want the niggas that they say that quote unquote I might potentially be better than can feel away. So I say these, when you were saying that stuff with Royce and you were like, Mickey Fax better than you, nigga. And I was like, no, I'm not. Because I do not like, but I don't like being put in these positions because then when I actually got to show it.
You feel bad. But listen. You know my criterion for best in the world shit. It's not that you're the best all the time. It's just that on any given day, you could do something. And on that day, you're the best in the world. And there's nobody in the world that can do that. And there's a rare few guys like that. There's you. There's King Los.
Yep.
There's Absol IT.
Yep.
Aesop Rock.
Yep.
And with Sandman, OT. And the list goes, it's a big list. Osiris Anthem. On a given day, they will to do something, perform something, and make something. And in that moment, they're the best. There's nobody in the world touching what they just did.
I agree.
And those are the folks who I'm not shy about mentioning their names in any circle. That's what they deserve. That's the fruits of your labor and how much you put and dedicated yourself to the craft. And I'm just talking about bars, so entendres and bars and putting things together. I'm not talking about songs and beats. I'm not talking about any of that. That's the standard. And if you're one of those people, if you're one of those aliens, Eminem, Lil Wayne, on that given day, You are the best in the world, and there's nobody who can fuck with you.
Right.
And to not be able to say that does a disservice to the craft. And I put the craft over everything. I don't give a fuck about anybody over the craft, right? The craft is most important. You know how thoroughly and real that I feel about that. The other permutations, the music business don't mean shit to me. I hate the music business. I hate that shit. I respect it, but I hate it. So I'm not gonna bite my tongue. And even with Royce the 5'9", on any given day, he can do something, be the best in the world. Black Dog, any given day, he can do something, be the best in the world.
Agreed.
I just mentioned dudes with record deals. Don't let me start mentioning dudes without, because then they get real spooky. I got students in my class at MIT that are so nice and so nasty that I got to make them do dumb shit. I force them to because I want them to have a full scope. They come in fully complete. And I challenge, my goal with them is to bring them down so they can understand what simplicity looks like, so they can develop range. And nobody knows who they are, but I do. I see them 14 weeks out of the year. Insane. I go back and listen to whoever, no way, right? All that to say, bro, like I've always been the dude who said what needed to get said and spoke truth to power. And that's just what that's going to be. But I'm also fair, and I don't start.
The reaction online has unfolded pretty much the way you'd expect. One user even wrote, "This guy is doing a whole podcast and reactor tour off Kendrick's name," before sarcastically adding that Lupe should be thanking Kendrick for the attention instead of acting like he's above it. At the same time, plenty of fans have pointed out that the real controversy isn't Lupe believing he's a better lyricist than Kendrick, because that's an opinion many can at least understand. The comment that really set people off was his claim that there are 50 to 100 rappers better than Kendrick, and that's the part critics keep coming back to. Ironically, a lot of those same people didn't even watch enough of the interview to hear Lupe fully explain why he holds that opinion. Meanwhile, another narrative has started gaining traction, with some fans comparing this situation to the way Eminem had outspoken critics over the years, arguing that Kendrick has now found his own version of that dynamic in Lupe. Others have gone even further, calling Lupe Kendrick's Dame Dash, a comparison that's spreading across social media, whether people agree with it or not. From everything I've seen, the conversation has become surprisingly split because many viewers still acknowledge Lupe's incredible lyrical ability, while also believing he's letting personal feelings cloud this particular argument. The biggest sticking point remains that 50 to 100 rappers statement, because to a lot of listeners it comes across as pure exaggeration, and that's exactly why the debate refuses to die. Even with all the criticism, Lupe hasn't backed away from his position one bit, and it'll be interesting to see whether public opinion shifts or if this discussion only gets louder from here. Let me know where you stand on it, because this is one of those hip-hop debates that doesn't seem to have an easy ending.